Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sunday chat today is going to be bits and bobs. Usual stuff for Sunday. Thanks to all those who've joined the Patreon site as patrons. It's greatly appreciated. Anybody else who would like to contribute to the channel in that way, the link's in the description. In addition to that, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, it would be nice if you did so. Just click on the button. It costs you nothing. I know the word subscribed sounds like you pay money, but you don't. All it does is make the view of the channel to YouTube look better, because YouTube sees progress, the number of subscribers steadily going up. It sees that and can push you up the list on searches as a consequence, so that's good. The thumbs up does the same sort of thing. So yeah, good stuff. There's always the goods, the products in the store, and underneath the videos, just above the description. Things like t-shirts and sweatshirts and mugs, tote bags. What else have I got in there? I think that's all I've got in there. I need to have a look at those because the link between the physical store and the one that shows on YouTube has quite a delay on it. So if I make changes for real on the store, they don't reflect in YouTube for some considerable time. And the store has discontinued some of the lines, because you think a t-shirt's a t-shirt. Well, no, there's a basic t-shirt, there's a comfort t-shirt, there's a ladies t-shirt, there's a v-neck t-shirt, there's a, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all. So, and they've discontinued a few, so I can only have so many showing on YouTube, so it would be a waste of space if I had discontinued ones. But if you clicked on any of those items, it will take you to the store. If it's a discontinued line, you would soon find out, I'm sure. I'm not going to let you buy something that doesn't exist. So that's that. What else? That'll do. I don't like doing that at the best of times. Yesterday's Wessex Orchid Society meeting, I put the video up of the plants on display. I wasn't differentiating between those on the competitive tables and those that were just brought in for show. I just filmed them all as there wasn't a great number there. But one thing that is important, quite a few people have commented on the Zygo, the last orchid in that video. That was actually Patricia's Orchids, yeah. It's quite good actually, because Wessex Orchid Society, we've got three active YouTubers, myself, Lynn and Patricia. Yeah, so that was hers. That got her first, I believe, rightly so as well, and generated a discussion from several of the growers saying that they thought they were very difficult to grow. So I'm not the only one that has trouble with them, although I think I've got my head around the blighters now. But Patricia's had hers growing in pure charcoal. Nothing else, so just charcoal, and it was a pretty healthy looking plant with a good number of spikes. So it's happy. That's all you can say. And while we're on the subject of Patricia, I will hold this up. She made this for me. Now this is a carry round bag, but I'll see if I can show you the detail on here. I should get some fluff on it. The embroidery is absolutely superb. How about that then? And she did one for the Orchid Society as well, with Wessex Orchid Society on it, that went in the raffle. So some lucky person got that. Anyway, well chuffed with that. Thank you again. Yeah, well pleased with that. I'll put that in there, out the way. So that's that. Also at yesterday's meeting, that was my first meeting as treasurer. And because of things going on, it got hectic. It got to the point where money was flying around all over the place, my hair was getting pulled out, and my scribbling got worse and worse as the day went on. The problem is, it was the last day apart from internet banking, where people could pay for our Christmas do. In addition to that, the subscriptions are due on the 1st of January, and November's the last meeting, because December is the Christmas do. People, you know, I'm not mucking about as treasurer at the Christmas do, so blow you. I'm going there for me, well, turkey and whatever, Christmas pud, and a glass of wine. Won't be able to have any more because I'll be driving there, which is a pain, but that's how it goes. The lunchtime do anyway. So, yeah, so it's my first sort of day as treasurer. You've got money flying in all over the place. I've got a book and a pen. And basically everything that came in, right, and who are you? I don't know everybody's name, you know, who are you? So. And what's the money for? 2 people, Christmas due, paid in full, you know. What's the money for? Subscriptions for next year. What, both of you? Yeah, subscriptions, you know, and making sure the money's right. Some people needed change, that messed me up. Had to do counting. Anyway, I got it all documented this morning, keyed it all into the day book, and because of the way the day book works, I wanted another analysis. You've got income and a little code that says what type of income, whether it's cash, check, internet banking, whatever. Don't think there's anything else. Yeah, but when you start including internet banking, it's not in your hand, you can't count it, whereas cash and checks are. So I set up a new analysis underneath income details where the different types of income could be accounted for and totaled. Obviously the two totals should balance, and they didn't. But they were out by £26, and I thought, people paid £10 deposit for their Christmas do, the total to pay is £23, and 2 lots of 23, 2 lots of 13, the difference between deposit and deposit, is £26. So somebody's paid me for the rest of their Christmas do for 2 people and got the money under my nose without me writing it down. So I phoned Lynn, and Lynn knew exactly who it was because they arrived in between me doing things, so the money arrived without me documenting it. So once I added that in, it balanced to the penny. Woohoo! I'm not saying it always will, but at least it did today. But yeah, it's a little bit hectic because of the type. An ordinary meeting wouldn't have many transactions going on. You know, I mean, the subscriptions are once a year, and once you get into January, where there'll be most of the rest of the payments, followed by rude letters saying, "Oi, if you want to turn up at the next meeting, get your money out." You know, so they'll trickle off. And then the next big event will be our show next spring, which is in March. So that is a bit of a panic, the show, because the last show we had, the previous treasurer did it, who's been doing it a long time, and he documented it incredibly well as the day went along. And I can't see me being able to do it that well. Still, all good fun. All good fun. So that was that. What I thought today is I've got my next visit to the house I'm going to on the 19th, which is going to come round quite quickly. At which point I'm taking the video camera to film. I'm not specifically filming it for you people to see, I'm filming it because there's bits of information I want to help me plan things. I want to know where radiators are, on which wall, yeah? And the basic layout of rooms, so that I can plan where items of furniture are going to go and work out, you know, where my office bit's going to be, you know, and where the seats can go so that we can view the TV, because at the moment the TV sticks out in the room because of where the seats are. It doesn't work very well, this one. You know, where's the dining room table going to go? All these sorts of things. And while I'm there, I'll take the dimensions of the conservatory. Now on that front, because I'm tired today, there's virtually no orchids going to come in this chat today, but ideas for layout. I'm going to get the camera off the tripod now, so it's going to wobble for a bit. try not to make it too dramatic. And get my hand in the strap. Right, I'm running. Now, what it's all about is the way these shelves work. They are actually double shelves. If you look, there's two quite narrow sets of shelves there. Now, they don't necessarily have to go together when I get to the new place. But what I did think about was all of my shelves around the edge. Yeah? And we've got this table as well, which I use for watering, and it's got the header tank on it for Hurricane Hector, because that needs to be raised up. It's siphonic. So that's that. But what about an idea of having the shelves coming out this way? So leaving enough room to sort of get down there, and then another gap here, and some more sticking out, and then another gap, and some more along the end, perhaps. Would that make better use of the space? Would I actually end up better off? So that's an idea. I've got one long side with no windows or doors, and it seems a little bit wasteful to have these shelves the way they are. Yeah? Because I'm going to end up with a lot of floor space. Well, the orchids don't go on the floor space, do they? You see what I mean? So having possibly 3 sets coming out like that. The lot up that end I wouldn't need to get round the back. I mean, I don't get round the back of these, do I? So we could have a double set up that end, yeah, and then a set in nearly in the middle and a set nearly up the other end, leaving enough room to get down there, and I might not need it. You know, I'm thinking I might need to get down both sides. I don't now. So we could have a pair that way up against that end, and a pair that way up against that end, and another pair in the middle. Or perhaps the tall one in the middle, or something. And if you think, if I had this pair up one end sticking out this way, this pair up the other end sticking out that way, and perhaps this tall one in the middle, I've now used all of those, and this big one, and I've only gone down one side. We've still got all the other side, and all that's left is this little one, and this one. I think that might make better use of the space, and I've already got a plan for where this little one's going to go, because there's an opening window that's quite large. Well, I don't want to waste the wall space underneath the window, but obviously I don't want a shelf sticking up where the window is, because I won't be able to get at it to open it. So that would take care probably of the shelving quite easily. My main worry, and a worry for a lot of people, is how am I going to deal with the hanging stuff? Because I'm not going to be able to put screws anywhere, or, you know, anything like that. But what I've found are some clothes hangers, clothes racks. Now, you can't get giant ones as high as this, obviously, because you'd never be able to reach them. But they go up to about 1.3 or 4 meters. And basically, it's like you can have double ones. So like it's an upright at either end, with or without wheels. Wheels is an idea to be able to move stuff around, and then a bar across the top. Well, the bar across the top isn't for hanging the plants on, it's for hanging the racks on. And they can hang vertically down and have plants on both sides, like up here, plants on both sides, yeah? So maybe a couple of those. Now initially, because I won't have them to move in, although I might pre-order at least one, and they come as double ones as well. They can be single, so there's a single bar across the top, and you can get double ones with 2 bars across the top. The problem with that is the middle. You know, if you think if there's 2 hanging racks, you've got the outside surfaces, but then you've got the surfaces on the inside. Now, how are you supposed to get at them? So the single ones make more sense. And I'd probably need 2, but to be decided. And in the interim, you know, well, where am I going to put all my hanging plants then? Where do you think? I can hang plants on the edges of the shelves for now. You know, it's not a big deal. So I think we will order one of these clothes racks. And I think having it on wheels, given that it's only a few pounds extra, might be a good idea, simply because I can move it closer to me when I'm watering. I can move it out of the way of certain shelves when I need to get at the plants there, and move it across the other side when I'm dealing with another shelf. It just makes things movable. So I think that's not a bad idea. So I think I will get on and order one of those. My worry with ordering anything at the moment is if it takes a long time to come, I'll have to order it with my current address, if you see what I mean. And I certainly don't want to start ordering things for the new address yet. I'm in between 2 houses basically. But if I got on and ordered that today, it would probably be here within a week, I'd have thought. So that means it's here, ready to go, and it'll be packed as well. And the other thing I'm planning is that these are going. They're old. Now, I will keep this one because it still works well, but I may not set it up. Because if you think of the way they're set up at the moment, they're hung on wires. They should be on a stand on the floor. Well, I've got one that hasn't come out of the box yet, a spare, that's brand new. And I thought in a brand new shiny conservatory, where everything's all nice and clean and it's got a nice clean floor and everything, it might be nice to have a nice clean circulating fan as well. So I think we'll set the new one up just to make everything look nice and clean. And Hurricane Hector's not going to get used now, probably till March. So that can be emptied. Header tank can be emptied. It can have a clean and get put away. That doesn't need to be set up yet. We'll wait till next year. And who knows, I might not need it anywhere near as much, because the Hurricane Hector's job here is to put the humidity back in when the extractor and the inlet fan suck it out and change the air. So Hurricane Hector replaces it, and it has a cooling effect. The mist that's produced is quite cool. Well, am I going to need that in a north-facing conservatory? I want it set up to come into use as and when the humidity drops down. But I don't think it's going to come on very often compared with what it does here. I mean, you get a warm summer's day here, you know, you've got 16 hours of daylight, and 10 of those are hot. You know, the sun's blazing down on here for, say, 10 hours. So you've got the extractor fan and the inlet fan, and Hurricane Hector and the 2 circulating fans on full blast virtually for 10 hours. You know, that's a lot of electricity and a lot of wear and tear on the units as well. So hopefully that will go down substantially. But, yeah, I mean, some of my warmer growers may not be as happy, but then they're not happy in the winter time anyway because of the cooler temperatures in the winter. And I've got quite a large percentage of cooler growing ones. Even amongst the Oncidium types, you've got the ones that have got odontoglossum in them, or cotyledons. They're cool to cold growers, those. My Miltoniopsis, cool growers. You know, and I've got the ones that I call my shadier types, you know, my Masdevallias, Draculas. They're going to be a lot happier. So, and most of the rest of the Oncidiums are classed as intermediate. They don't need heat. But the ones that do are things like the Rhinantheras, the Vandas, and a good percentage of the Cattleyas, which might not bloom as well. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But yeah, it's planning, basically. So it's not just this lot. I mean, that's all you lot think about. Well, I hope the orchid's going to be all right. Yeah, but there's me as well, don't forget, and me cats. We got to move house as well. And I want my furniture and everything arranged better than it is now, because I didn't get much choice when I moved in here, because Mum's stuff was still here. And I've sort of been stuck with it. Whereas now I can start from scratch. You know, there'll be nothing in there. And the only stuff that's going in there is my basic needs. No extras. Now, there's a line out of a film. I bet you don't get this one. Nothing extra. That's all you're getting. Nothing extra. Who said that? And under what circumstances? Actually, it's an incredible film. It's one of my favourites, but in half long. No, I'm giving clues now. Cut it out. Right, yeah, so that's sort of it for today. I've still got some more of that banking stuff to do, because although I've accounted for yesterday's meeting, I haven't accounted for the month, if you see what I mean. So I've got to go back through the internet banking and make sure everything is actually documented properly in the right place and still balances. Well, if it doesn't balance, I'll just take it out. No, it's got to be right, hasn't it? With accounts, you know, it's near enough isn't good enough, is it? It needs to be right. It's either right or it's wrong. And it's nearly right isn't right, is it? It's got to be right. So we'll work on that. And I didn't take my Vander in. I just got, despite having quite a bit of time yesterday before I needed to go, I didn't take a plant in, and I forgot to take Lynn's moss again. So that's two opportunities I've missed to get Lynn her moss. It'll get there eventually. But, Bournemouth Orchid Society is the next opportunity we'll get to meet, I suspect. So anyway, you know, it was a good meeting. I enjoyed it, despite getting a bit fraught with all the money flying at me and 3 or 4 people telling me what the money's for all at the same time, and I've only got one pair of hands and one pen to write in my little book. But we got through it. That's the main thing. It's all new, you know. I mean, I haven't done that sort of thing before, so it was all new. I have kept accounts before for my own limited company. When I was doing my freelance work, I had a limited company and I had to keep my accounts for that. But there's no panic, you know. I mean, there was only me, so I could keep the accounts as and when I felt like it. But yeah, this is all a bit needs to be kept up to date, needs to be right. And at the end of the year, I've got to do a financial statement, which will be, I've been given all the historical stuff, so I will get out the financial statement for the last year and just amend the figures for this year. You know, I'm not reinventing the wheel. There's no point. You know, so I'll just update, you know, copy it into a new name with 2021 on the end and update the figures with the new figures that I've got, and we'll go from there. Oh, sorry, I thought I'd seen a bud in a daft place, but it's the edge of a leaf just poking out from a cane, so no such luck. Anyway, that'll do for today. Time's getting on, and as I said, I've had a busy computer morning, and yesterday is a long day. I always end up tired after a Wessex meeting, well, with a committee meeting in front of it. I mean, I leave here at 11 and I get home at 6. It's a long day. I mean, okay, yesterday I was sat down for a fair bit of it, but it's quite a long day. And the talk yesterday was from one of the members, actually, nice guy, and it was about our own native orchids. But there was a lot of more interesting stuff than I've ever heard on that subject before. That subject is normally covered by people standing there and saying, up comes a picture, and this is so-and-so, so-and-so. Up comes a picture, and this is so-and-so, so-and-so. And to me, that's probably the most boring type of presentation you can ever do. There's no movement in it. It's relentless. It's just, here's a picture of an orchid. Here's another picture of an orchid. Here's another picture of an orchid, until it runs out. And to me, that's not entertaining. And it's not that informative either. But they were all his own pictures, and they were taken from all around the country. So there were pictures and locations of orchids that I can't probably ever hope to see, because I don't go to those places. And a lot that I did know, and a lot that I did recognise. And yeah, it was an interesting talk on a subject that I'm not normally that interested in, and that normally says to me that the speaker's done a good job. If you can make something that's not really of great interest interesting, then you haven't done bad, have you? So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was okay. But, and he had all his own kit as well. He had his own projector, his own laptop. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. A good all-round meeting. I had my homemade cake. Can't go to Wessex without homemade cake. See what I mean about when you've got scale or had scale, you go into panic. Now look at that leaf, and look at it, and look at it, and look at it, and it's not scale. It's just white marks. But from back here, you know, will I ever be rid of them? I don't think I will. Just have to put up with it. But they're in here in incredible low numbers now, and they're not going to breed that much now. It's not conducive. Their temperatures drop down. Shorter days, they just don't do as well. So, and hopefully by keeping at it during this time of the year, by the time we get back to sort of April, May, when they start firing up again, there won't be enough of them left to fire up. We'll see how that goes. But I've always said, if you've ever had, well, certainly with the Boisduval scale, if you've ever had them, you've probably still got them. They're there somewhere. They're lurking. You know, they're underneath a rhizome or in a leaf joint somewhere. And they just suddenly appear again, as if from nowhere. But yeah, I'm pretty well on top of them now. There's not many around at all. And there are lots of plants in here now. In fact, the majority of plants in here that haven't got scale and haven't had scale. You see what I mean? So we're getting there. We're getting there. Right, so I don't know what your ideas, the thoughts on the ideas about shelves the other way round. Instead of having them flat against the long wall, have them there and something in the middle and something up the end. So there'll be 2 gaps, 3 sets with 2 gaps. So you can walk in and face one way and get it one set, turn round and face the other way, sort of thing. And then, I mean, the double doors that lead out into the garden, I only need one of them. I don't need double doors. So the one that opens on its own will be the one that won't have any shelves in front of it. I can put shelves in front of the other one because I don't need to open it. They are 2 separate doors, so one of them can just stay permanently shut. The shelves can go in front of that. So, yeah. Plans, but what I need really are is the ability to plan where the furniture is going to go, because the removals men, it would be nice to be able to tell them to put it in the right place so that it hasn't got to be moved. Well, to do that, I need to plan ahead and know exactly where stuff's going to go. So that's the idea. And as I said, the 19th will come round relatively quickly. I don't know what it is now, 14th. Well, yes, this week, isn't it? So later this week, we will go and have another look with the camera and see what we can come back with and go from there. Yeah. But yeah, it's coming together slowly but surely. Anyway, as I say, that'll do for today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. You know what's going to happen? Well, I'll have to move in first, but in December we've got the project orchids to do, haven't we? That might not be quite as easy as normal. We shall see. I mean, I might be able to get at least one of, because there's 4, isn't there? There's 4 sets of project orchids. I might be able to get a couple of them done here before I move, and then perhaps another couple having moved. We shall see. But yeah, we got to finish off that this year's project orchids in December, where we go back over the whole lot. So we go right back to the very first filming of the orchids as they were at the very start of the growing season, and then we have a look at them how they were in the next update, then the next update, and then how they are like now in December. So they tend to get a little bit longer than the mid-season ones, for obvious reasons. There's more sort to do, but yeah, and then we finish off, and then at some point, after Christmas, New Year, we'll be selecting the plants for the next year's project orchids, if you think it's okay to carry on doing it. I don't mind doing them. They are a bit of a faff, but they're only every 3 months. There's only 4 of them. It's not the end of the world, is it? to put a bit of effort into some of the videos. I don't mind doing that. But yeah, perhaps you can start. Well, no, it's a bit too early to start thinking about what plants we're going to use next year. Let's get this get this series finished off first. But yeah, the Zygo's opening up a bit more now. The one that's fully open has got its back to us, typical. But that one's opening up now. So we've got 2 on that spike and 1 on the other spike. Yeah, it's looking okay. It certainly needed the stake though to straighten that one up, as it was dragging the new growth down. 2 spikes on an immature growth, because that's how they bloom. They're not mature when they actually push the spikes out. Oh, and somebody noticed on, I think it was on Patricia's, or somebody mentioned it yesterday about Zygos, is their ability to do this, where they grow a pseudobulb and then they have another swelling on top of it that looks like another mini pseudobulb. And I've actually seen that a few times on Zygos, so it's not that unusual sort of thing. So yeah, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Let's go and get some flipping food. The time goes on when you know, I mean, that computer stuff it's taken me quite a while this morning. It all had to be keyed in and cross-checked, you know, make sure I've spelt people's names right. I've got the list of the members, so that's like who there is that are actually members and all that sort of stuff. So I had like 3 or 4 documents open at the same time, cross-checking everything. But yeah, it's all good stuff, and it's, you know, we're getting to the point now where there's so few people on the committee that people are having to do multiple jobs to keep the society going now. I'm sure other societies are in the same boat. People want the society, they want, you know, the ability to have meetings and have speakers and have Christmas do's, but they don't want to put any effort in themselves. They want it all done for them by somebody else. And the somebody else's are getting thin on the ground because they're getting fed up with having to do everything. But, you know, we're not alone in that. We're very lucky with the Bournemouth Orchid Society. It's a strong committee of people who've got their jobs allocated and crack on with them. Yeah, so far so good. But all the people on the committee progressively get older. You know, there comes a time when they sort of think this is all a bit too much. Yeah, so anyway, not for me yet. I'm still plodding on. Still on my feet and all that sort of stuff. Not going down yet. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.